Our Transmedia research project has been conducted on the gaming franchise Halo. Halo encompasses 4 extremely popular video games, several spin-off games, novels, comics, live-action webisodes that generate an enormous fan base. The term transmedia is a relatively new term. It was created by Professor Dr. Marsha Kinder in 2001. It's an evolving idea, and in his book Convergence Culture, Dr. Henry Jenkins reframed Kinder's earlier understanding to describe heavily integrated narratives like The Matrix. Jenkins' definition is, transmedia storytelling represents a process where integral elements of fiction get dispersed systematically across multiple delivery channels for the purpose of creating a unified and coordinated entertainment experience. Ideally, each medium makes its own unique contribution to the unfolding of the story. Jenkins describes 2 different terms that have led to the emergence of transmedia. These terms are convergence culture and participatory culture. Convergence culture is the flow of content across multiple media platforms. Jenkins describes an adventurous audience that will go almost anywhere in search of the kind of entertainment experiences they want. Jenkins acknowledges how transmedia encourages user participation. Participatory culture is intended to contrast older notions of spectatorship. Furthermore, Andrea Phillips breaks down transmedia storytelling into 2 different categories, West Coast transmedia and East Coast transmedia. West Coast transmedia, which is more commonly known as Hollywood or franchise media, is basically big business commercial storytelling. Examples of this include Star Wars and Avatar. East Coast transmedia tends to be more interactive and much more web-centric. Our final assignment for production project will most likely be categorized as East Coast transmedia, whereas Halo, a large franchise, is categorized as West Coast transmedia.
What is world building? World building, or creating what Kristen calls a story world, describes a design process where writers and content producers work together to construct an imaginary setting or world. This imaginary space is often based around a fictional narrative and will include a detailed backstory and history, and an in-depth setting such as a unique geography, society, and culture. Think of what Tolkien did with Lord of the Rings or what the Wachowskis have done with The Matrix. Why is world building important in relation to transmedia? While offering a large creative space to expand on and add to a primary narrative, world building can also define the transmedia project's physical structure and audience participation. World building can deeply engage your audience. Incorporating a constructed imaginary world into your transmedia project facilitates immersion. It gives the audience something to be part of, a bigger picture to get involved in. This is particularly useful with gathering hardcore fans that Kristen describes as deep divers. While engaging the audience, world building can also provide a transmedia project with structure. Emma Beddoes contends that world building is essential when producing a transmedia project as it helps with integrating multiple storylines and various types of media. If the story from a comic book and a short film are based within the same world and relate to the same primary storyline, these different mediums become interconnected within the constructed story world. Transmedia world and narrative structure in Halo 4. Kevin Grace, who is the managing editor for 343 Studios, which is the production company that controls all facets of the Halo Transmedia project, believes in multiple channels of storytelling. And this can be seen throughout the Halo universe that has been created. Grace states that everything counts in the universe. Events take place in novels, which are meaningful and a part of the real Halo universe. Our fans must be taken care of, and therefore all narratives tie together. The Halo universe consists of the Halo video games, Halo Legends, which is a series of 7 animated short films, soundtracks, novels, comics, Halo Waypoint, which is an online portal with news, podcasts, video content, and user-generated content, and Halo 4 Forward Until Dawn, which is a live-action web series. Grace firmly highlights how the main narrative and sub-storylines are structured. As much as it is important that the comics reference the novels, that's not as exciting as the game. The game, Halo 4, is the priority. Everything must be interconnected, but Halo 4 is the temple. Halo 4 is the center of our transmedia strategy. Everything needs to be fed into that and support that. How to world build with transmedia. What has become apparent after exploring numerous readings, for example, Jenkins' Searching for the Origami Unicorn and Hayes' Transmedia Production Bible, is that detailed planning and a production structure is crucial. Grace explains that the 343 franchise team is the central planning point for all of the different stories within the Halo Transmedia project. Every storyline is approved and flows through this central planning unit. The team ensures that everything is connected and supported, so nothing lives in a bubble. The live action affects the motion graphics, and this follows on throughout the entire project. Dina highlights a few strategic tricks that can be used to create an imaginary world. Affordance of each medium. Think about what each type of media can achieve and in what way. Distant mountains. Give your world a detailed backstory. This will make the world believable to even the most die-hard fan, as they can explore and dive into a deep, rich, detailed world with a history and a future. Negative capability, which is strategic gaps. Grace raises an important point when he talks about creating an environment that allows depth, allows deep divers to become consumed by the Halo universe, but also an environment that is still entertaining for the average consumer, what Kristen calls skimmers. So, what have we learned? Strong transmedia storytelling needs strong world with a strong narrative. Building a strong world and a strong narrative structure is crucial for the success of any transmedia project, regardless of the size. A strong story will create enough depth and interest for users to become hardcore fans. No homework required. It is important for users to be able to understand any part of the transmedia project without having to engage with the entire back catalogue of the franchise. Links. It is extremely important to have strong links between the different platforms to encourage users to migrate from one part of the transmedia project to another. Appropriate content for appropriate platforms. A shoot-'em-up game wouldn't work on a novel form, and a political story is not exciting enough for a video game. Let the platforms do what they do best. It is also important for creators to reward those who participate in the whole franchise without punishing those who don't.
Transmedia, as it's commonly known today, is storytelling on the cusp of new possibilities, meaning that transmedia storylines can remain unfinished because their capacity to continue is limitless.